guys. So today I've been working on, apologies for my voice, it's a bit sore, offbeats on the hi-hats, which on paper look very, very simple, but in reality can be very difficult because we're playing with our weakest limb, which is our left foot, if you're right-handed. Because if you're right-handed, you're probably right-footed, meaning that if you write with your right hand, you probably kick with your right foot most accurately. And it's I will say the word strength when it comes to these limbs. Your strongest limb is your right hand, and your weakest limb is your left foot. But like, I would rather someone punch me in the face than kick me in the face. So it's not actual strength. It's actually referring to fine motor skill. So if you think about which limb is best at writing your name, the best would be your right hand if you're right-handed. Next in the list would be left hand. Then in third place would be right foot, and in worst handwriting, come last, it's the left foot. So the limb we have the least fine motor skill, or the least control of, is the left foot. So if you look at the music I have on screen here, you'll see that I've got open hi-hats on the ands. So the very first thing you see there is a rest on the bottom and a half a beat rest on the top. So that means we don't play anything on one. And on the and, we hit an open hi-hat. So one, and. On two, you can see there's a bass drum, which we're going to ignore for now. We're going to do nothing with the bass drum for a second. But we have a plus on the and. On the two, should I say. So we go one and two. That plus means you close the hi-hats. And we have another open hi-hat on the and then a close on three, and an open hi-hat on the and then a close on four, and an open hi-hat on the and. So we're hitting all the ands, and we're closing it at all the numbers. One and two and three and four and one and two and three and four and. So this might be simple for some, it might be damn near impossible for others. As slow as 50 BPM, we're going to try just doing that. One, and two, and three, and four, and three, four. One, and two, and three, and four, and okay, and you don't have to stop every bar. You can eventually just continually do that. Three and four and. Don't fall into the trap of hitting on the numbers and calling it and. This can happen. You can get this and. Obviously I'm saying and, but that doesn't mean it's and. And is the offbeat. It's in between the numbers. So one, and the and is there, then two. Okay? You really just have the pulse on the one, two, three, four. The ands are in between those pulses. One, and, two, and, three, and, four, and. I hope this is all making sense on my hands in the air thing. The reason I'm doing this isn't for everyone. It's for the small percentage of people that are still a little bit confused by it. Sometimes visual acting it out helps it make sense. And I really want to be so clear on this. You don't have to be able to do this for this to be valuable to you. In fact, it's nothing to do with doing it. It's all about understanding it. If you can do this because you're listening to me doing it, that doesn't mean that you've got it. The analogy I've used for this is following someone in a car, in a follow car. If you think of the person that you're following as the teacher, then it's possible that you are just following them and taking the turns that they're taking and following the movements that they're doing. So like someone following another person in a car. It's possible that the following day, the next day, if you don't have someone to follow, you won't be able to find your way to your destination because you weren't paying attention to the turns you were taking, you were just following someone. The same can happen in a drum lesson where you just hear what the teacher's doing and you copy it. And then when you're asked to do it, or when you have to do it on your own at home, you get lost because you weren't actually listening to the directions, you were just copying, turning when they turned, like in the analogy of the driving. So it's impossible to be sure you're doing something just because you're playing it correct. You could be just listening and copying. The playing of it is not the point here, the understanding of it. So there's two different outcomes that you could find yourself in here. You could be like, hey Mike, you know what? I can't play any of that at all, but I understand it all, and over the course of a week I can take it from understanding and getting it to ability. I can practice my way into being able to play it. And then the polar opposite of that is I can play what you're playing, but I have no idea what it is, and I don't know if I'm right or if I'm wrong. Now that person, on the surface of it, you think they're better off because they're able to play it. But how are they going to practice? They can't possibly get it right. So it's important that you're listening to what's being said here rather than just copying. The pulse on 1, 2, 3, 4 is your direction for your ands. So if you just sit here and go and, that will really help you hit that open and. Now, offbeats are hard, left foot's hard. We're doing both, so it's going to be hard. Once you've got this, and what I mean by got this is you're able to do it without mistakes and think about other stuff. Your mind can wander because it's not 100% focused on what you're doing anymore because you know you've got it. It's easy for you. Now think about putting your bass drum down on the 2 and down on the 4. It's going to sound like this. 1 and 2 and 4 and 2 and 4 and 2 and 4 2 4. Sometimes jumping straight in and doing that bass drum is too much. So maybe just say the 2 and the 4 out loud while you're playing. 2 4 2 4 2 4. So that gives you a kind of a half step towards playing that bass drum on the offbeat. The goal tempo on this is 114, so more than double what we're currently doing. So this is what the 114. Okay, so that's the goal. That's what it's going to sound like eventually. Don't just jump in and play it at that speed without thinking about what you're doing, because it's very easy to do that. You have to understand what this is. You have to be able to do it at all speeds. Doing it fast doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be able to do it slow. Sometimes a beat is way harder to do slower. So work on it at all speeds. It's not a sexy topic. It's not something that people are going to be able to show off. But it's something you've got to work on if you want to be a multi independent drummer. As what I mean by that is you have a 4-way independence in all your limbs. That it's not just your hands playing drums, not just your hands and your bass drum. It's all 4 limbs are able to play. So I hope this was a good video for you guys. It's humbling for drummers who've been playing a long time that don't use the left foot to come back to this level. But it's great for drummers who are just starting out to work on this, because if they can strengthen the left foot early on, they're going to be a much better rounded drummer altogether. Cool. I think I'm probably out of disk space now because I only have 4 gigs of a SD card. So I'm going to cut it there. Thanks for watching. I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow, like always, but I'll see you then. Bye.